3. Shooting began rewind. By doing Dave Chappelle's Block Party, I overcame one of my main fears, taking on a subject I wasn't part of and shooting without the skeleton of a story. That was exciting, and I wanted more. Also, I had experienced glimpses of Dave's magic at random times, and I wanted to continue experiencing it. While editing Block Party, I started to write a new screenplay, Beacon Rewind. I had Dave in mind for one of the two main characters, but trying to persuade him to be part of my movie reminds me of trying to get a girlfriend not to dump me. Lots of hope and disillusion. The thing with Dave is that it makes it okay for me to talk about real people and the problem associated with difference in ethnicity, etc. I felt legitimate. And my utopia was once again tickling my brain. Utopia and Tourette's. That's my precise condition. Utopia has burst out of my imagination without warning. A few years ago, I bought the box set of the Planet of the Apes movies, and watching these helped solidify the sustentation triangle that served as the basis for Beacon Rewind. See, at the time they were shot, each sequel was cheaper to shoot than the one before, contrary to the current paradigm. So by Planet number 3 or 4, the budget would have shrunk like a mother knit sweater in a washing machine at 160 degrees. So I thought, why not push this logic to the extreme and shoot remakes of a famous movie for just $1? That's how the sweating idea began. After Beacon Rewind came out, I found out about those kids who remade Raiders of the Lost Ark in Super 8, and I knew I would be accused of moral dishonesty, plagiarism, and all sorts of unpleasant things. Even worse, I was later accused of ripping off a Nickelodeon show I had never seen. See, when you're a director and you put something out in the world, your ego is eaten with every sauce. Some people will speak volume of praise, while others will write mean stuff. I just cancelled my Google alert today. So that was the triangle: community, self-made entertainment, and cheap remakes. And Dave Chappelle, so I guess that's a square. Only like my girlfriend, he abandoned me. But that was not as painful, thank God. So back to the triangle. I was left on my own, about to direct a movie with many racial jokes, and the spike again was poking my spine. But I don't mind being scared when I shoot. In fact, it's a perfectly natural state of mind for me while working. So I went out on my own. I mean, with a lot of people, but not Dave. And I shot Beacon Rewind in the city of Passaic, New Jersey. As a writer-director, I discovered something extremely convenient. I could create a world that could fit my utopia. Of course, then it was not a utopia anymore, but a functioning system. Sure, this world was not a true reality, but still it was there, and it let my system exist and be successful. I believe in systems, well, not the big and vague entity that seems to run the world against everyone. The system to which I am referring is more like an ensemble of imagined rules that allow a participant to achieve a certain outcome. The rules let people focus on a single moment while simultaneously ensuring that all the effort produced add up to the desired result. I found the same exact principle in a book on mathematical language. One has just to adopt a procedure that processes inner characteristics once for all established, and each time one applies it, one doesn't have to bother themselves. The procedure moves forward on its own. While the World is Mathematical by John D. Barrow. I created new systems for most of my videos. For shooting a video entirely with Lego blocks for the white stripe without the use of CGI, I had to come up with a completely new form of organization with a team of animators. I create the system so that regardless of the success or failure of the finished product, I know that I have at least tried to create something new. If someone invents a system that works, they often encounter strong resistance from most people because people assume that if the system is really all that great, then it must already exist. It's really too bad. On this topic, my good friend of producer Steve Golin mentioned on one of the bonus tracks of the 18 Essentials of the Postless Mind DVD, Michel just doesn't like convention. They have been making movies for over 100 years on a lot of the ways they do things because they work. You don't realize how smart those ways are until you try to do it another way and you realize those things are done for a reason. I couldn't disagree more, Steve. There is a million reasons why people don't want to try a new system. They like safety. Admitting the new system is better would mean admitting they have been using an obsolete one. Some might find themselves unemployed with the new system. A system must be created by aged and obscure and intelligent entities, not by the guy next to you. They are jealous because they didn't think of it. People are lazy. They think they will waste their time because ultimately they will have to redo the work using the proper method. Nostalgia. They feel like guinea pig, and furthermore. Once, my mom had an addiction problem with an over-the-counter drug. Something with codeine, I think. She could get it in any pharmacy, and they are all over the place in Paris. Nothing could stop her, even to the point where her life was endangered. So I Xeroxed her picture and went to the main pharmacy next to her place. "This is my mother. You can't sell her any more of the codeine stuff," I demanded. "I'm sorry. It is an over-the-counter medication. It's illegal for me to refuse to sell it to her," the lady answered. Visibly upset, I said, "Then she will die, and you will be personally responsible for that." As I began to leave, the pharmacist stopped me and said, "Okay, I know who your mother is. I will not sell her any more of this drug." It worked. Even better, now engaged with my mother's difficulties, the pharmacist took the system even further. Mom was prescribed a monthly supply of sleeping pills, but would consume the whole box the first week. So now, instead of giving my mother her entire prescription at once, the pharmacist gave her 1 pill a day in an envelope and 2 for the weekend. We had created a system that worked, and my mother was safe, at least for a while. It was, however, just a building block, one that would need much more work to create something that could last. But nevertheless, it was an unexpected and successful foundation. During the filming of Beacon Rewind, my system compulsion didn't exist only on the story. It began to sneak into the every way I executed the production. I wanted to involve as many people living in Passaic as possible. Passaic is a very ethnically diverse community. 62.5% Hispanic and Latino, and 13.8% African American according to the Passaic County Planning Board. There are residents from virtually every Central American and Caribbean country and a thriving Polish community. I didn't want the production to simply be an intrusion in those people's life. I wanted them to participate in the experience and bring their individual personalities to the story. Moreover, I had even hoped to premiere the movie in Passaic so they could see and resonate with themselves on screen, like in my Luxor dream. Unfortunately, we had to premiere the film in Clifton the next turn over because Passaic had no theater. I had seen this phenomenon while premiering Dave Chappelle's block party in his hometown. The excitement and pride were reflected in the eyes of the Ohio marching band that made the trip to Brooklyn. The problem with that, each sector of a film crew belongs to a union that did not exactly appreciate my inclusion. My union, the Director's Guild, provides me with an excellent healthcare but forbids me from shooting under a certain budget. Similarly, the Screen Actor Guild forbids production from hire any non-SAG actors unless there are at least 50 union actors already hired. But yet again my utopian turrets came up with system to avoid this. For the reenactment of Fats Waller's life, we needed small dance numbers. I didn't want to have a choreographer or professional dancer because it had to be amateurish and fresh, qualities often forgotten with professionals. So we went around the main street of Passaic and got 60 kids to join our improvised dance club. SAG could stop us from hiring non-union actors, but they couldn't stop us from hiring dancers. Twice a week, we would gather our new dancer in an old ballroom. One would think that the combination of 60 kids from the project, an old ballroom, and choreography instruction would be chaos. Thankfully, this could not have been furthermore from the truth. I did a quick interview with each kid or adult to make a rough selection. I asked them each to describe their favorite relative. I generally prefer when people don't talk about themselves. And do a little improvised dance number. We chose most of the people that had auditioned. I remember not hiring the only professional dancer. She was already polluting the others with her preconceived idea of what dance should look like, precise, affected. Back to our ballroom. I randomly divided the ensemble into 7 groups of 8 people. I let the groups form naturally, allowing friends to be together if they felt better that way. After all, even I don't want to be separated from my friends at weddings. In each group, I spotted the one who could count a bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, of music. This person would be a leader for each group. I didn't do this so the leader could boss around the others, but rather it was a way to ensure that the group would receive the best instruction from a peer. No real hierarchy was established, just like the guy who drives the car for his friend, nothing more. After we had established groups, we all watched some dance footage on the TV and talk about simple movements. The leader would then make sure his group learned it. I swear, in half an hour, I had the 60 kids working quietly in the same room. No chaos. When people are given a chance to achieve something fun, they don't need the hassle of authority to stay focused. They always rise to the occasion, which is the easiest way to get the best of people. No management required. In a couple of weeks, we created all the numbers we needed for the story. We were ready to shoot them just as we started production. The kids performed with a graceful clumsiness and tons of enthusiasm, especially when Mos Def and Jack Black were around. They were giant trumpet players, found by small kids on the shoulder of big guys who were dressed as giant pairs of pants, horn players bursting out of giant trumpets, which were in turn held by other trumpet players emerging from bigger horns, etc. We had kids with musical notes attached to their heads, walking up and down a music sheet coming out of Fat's piano. It was just a terrific spectacle.